Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and we have about a week of From Witch Queen, so there are some things that I want to cover for you, just to make sure you're aware of them. I may cover them in a video over the weekend. It's kind of like first things to do when you log in, but I'm still going to say them a couple times, so hopefully they sink in. First is the launch of Witch Queen. We know it's February 22nd. Server reset every week is going to be 9 a.m. Pacific time, so Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, Witch Queen should go live. Granted, servers are probably going to be slammed. Either there's going to be server issues, which hopefully don't happen. They've actually been decent, but login queues definitely will happen. There are 1 million pre-orders for this thing, so you could be waiting through 25,000 people in line. We will just have to see, but just know that servers could be fairly slow. Also, make sure you know that servers are going down 14 hours before launch. So servers will go down and will not come back up till Witch Queen, so don't wait to do things till the last minute, because at 7 p.m. Pacific, 14 hours before weekly reset, 7 p.m. Pacific on Monday the 21st, servers will go down. You will be able to start preloading Witch Queen at 9 p.m. Pacific time, so make sure you do that as well. If you are on PlayStation, really make sure you set your alarm, get up, give it plenty of time to do that stuff. And they even mentioned on PS4 that there are compatibility packs. Once you've got everything completely downloaded and installed, make sure you try and boot up the game, try and log in before servers actually go live. And you should download some compatibility packs. They say that's for PS4, but basically just make sure your platform is completely installed, try to log in, and make sure you can see, servers not up, and you should be good at that point. But you got 12 hours to pre-download. That should be good for most people. So that is the big thing. Make sure your console and wherever you're playing this thing is completely installed and prepped to go. But also know that when you try and log in at 9 a.m., servers are probably going to struggle, and there's probably going to be login queues. Fair warning, I've told you guys multiple times, that's how this stuff goes. We just watched Lost Ark go through some substantial issues when the free-to-play version went live, so just be ready. 1 million pre-orders for this thing, it's probably going to be a little slow that first day. I think the other big question is, are we going to see the end of Season of the Lost tomorrow? My assumption is yes, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen tomorrow. Because we have the actual bridge in Astral Alignment that got built. We know about that already because people on Twitter have found over the course of the past 6 months, when you're in Astral Alignment and you're not in the Blindwell section, when you're at those kind of outer areas in the Dreaming City, there's one that we've never been able to get to, and there's 2 things that are now connected by a bridge that previously were not. So theoretically, tomorrow, which I will be streaming live, twitch.tv/Ebontis, come hang out with me over there, we're going to see, hopefully, the end of Season of the Lost, with Savathun either coming out of the crystal, having the worm removed, whatever's going to happen with Mara and Savathun getting the light, heading off to a throne world. Don't know what's going to happen. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, my assumption is it's going to be a cinematic that is for everybody when you log in for Witch Queen. But I've got to assume it happens tomorrow. They really haven't left us hanging this long with no payoff before. Maybe they're choosing to put it all into Witch Queen, and I guess that would make some sense so everybody sees it and nobody misses it. But if it is going to happen during this season, it is going to happen tomorrow, because the timing of server resets that I just said would seem very weird if they tried to pull a live event right before they shut down. So I'm still thinking if it's going to happen, it's tomorrow. So come join me on Twitch and we'll see if it happens. Otherwise, we're just going to log into some cinematic of, the Savathun coming out of her crystal and becoming a moth and, getting out of her chrysalis. And that's going to be the cinematic for Witch Queen. I don't know which one it's going to happen. My guess is tomorrow, but we'll find out and see tomorrow. Now, I've told you guys previously what is leaving. Basically everything for the last year except Beyond Light stuff. Anything related to your seasons. Anything from Season of the Splicer, from Season of the Chosen. The War Table staying, that's pretty much it in here. Your overrides. All of your activities with regards to the seasons are going away. Now, I've said this previously. If you have access to the missions, Presage and also Harbinger on the EDZ, if you have access to these missions, run them one more time today if you see this video on Monday, but at least one more time before Witch Queen launches, mainly because the cost of the weapons is going to be expensive. I've seen a lot of people in my comments say, I'm just going to wait till Xur sells them. And that is an option. I totally get that. And also, if you don't have Season of the Chosen, or you don't have the Deluxe Beyond Light and you don't want to buy it a week before, I get that. So then you are going to wait. If you are going to wait, you are going to want to make sure you get some materials possibly prepared now if you can. It's going to cost you 1 Ascendant Shard, which, depending on, say, Xur sells the God Roll of Dead Man's Tale at the first week of Witch Queen. Ascendant Shards are going to be hard to come by, I'm pretty sure. because we're going to be lower level than we are any other time in the season. The other thing is going to ask for is an exotic cipher, which if you've got one, I would keep it. But also, if you don't have one, I would work on making progress towards one. It's going to be like a chunk of glimmer and 200 legendary shards. That's not so bad. But the exotic cipher comes from a quest from Xur if you don't have one. It's the genealogy quest. You can pick it up now, actually, and make some progress on it like I am. I'm doing this, so I have a backup. So that's not a bad way to go. And if you make progress now, then when you get into Witch Queen, you should hopefully be able to have access to one in case he does sell one. But my advice is pick this thing up now, because it's like 21 strikes. You could do higher Nightfalls to go a little faster, but it's still a lot of activities to finish this thing. So the time sink into this, if you're just trying to grind out that god roll weapon from Xur, not something you want to do when Witch Queen has so much other stuff going on. So my advice, try and get some progress or most of the progress on this done now. So when you log into Witch Queen, you're like, yeah, I can do 2 strikes and it's pretty much good to go. Leave yourself a little bit to do, not all of it, if you don't have access to it. And again, you could be unlucky and just never got the roll you want. Still, my advice, make sure you have an exotic cipher. And also right now, try and find an LFG, find somebody to run you through a GM, whatever you got to do. Try and also get yourself a golf ball or an ascendant shard, same name. Just to have, so you've got a couple of those maybe in your inventory in case you need to spin those early in Witch Queen as well. Try and get a little materials prepared. Can't hurt. You guys can also see my screen over here is loaded with bounties. I am saving bounties on all 3 characters. Mostly because, as we've talked about before, that is just going to help me get bonus on my artifact, which potentially will help me with regards to trying the legendary campaign, which is going to be a huge important thing. But also it's going to help me unlock mods quicker and sooner. So it's just that extra progress. I'm going for a day 1 raid, at least completion, not trying to race it, but I do want to finish it. And I'm playing with like some high level people, so I just want to make sure I'm holding up my end of the bargain. Now, you guys can see we've got Nessus, we've got EDZ, we've got Xur, grab a Star Horse bounty, we've got Nightmare Hunts, we've got Moon. We do have Crucible and Vanguard. Only do up to like 7 Crucible or Vanguard bounties. Do not hold all 8, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. You've also got, you've got plenty of things on Europa, the Weekly Moon, and Cosmodrome. Iron Banner. Iron Banner comes back this week. It comes back on the 15th. You have 1 week. If you are not saving Iron Banner bounties, I understand. Maybe you're trying to get tokens. Maybe you're trying to get a roll on a multi-mock because the multi-mock is not going to be in rotation next season. So that could be something you're going for. There's like 4 weapons leaving. Multi-mock is, I think, the only one that most people are caring about. There's like Guiding Sight and Steady Hands, but it's the SMG it seems like everybody seems to want right now from this. Of the things that are leaving, at least. Like the Wrist Walker and stuff are still going to stay. But Iron Banner bounties are substantial experience bumps, and they're also going to give you a piece of gear. Now, it says Pinnacle gear. I'm honestly going to tell you now there's a 99% chance that that is not going to be a high-level piece of gear that you want to wait to turn in. It's just probably going to be a new piece of gear from Season 16. So either a new piece of Iron Banner armor. I'm guessing there's going to be a new Iron Banner armor set, so you might get a glimpse to see that. And then you also might get a new Iron Banner weapon. Just a chance. There's very little harm in holding on to this, and if you get just old gear, you still are going to get a chunk of XP, which is not a bad thing. Iron Banner comes back next week, or tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this one, so literally in a day. And this is your last chance to hold on to Iron Banner bounties if you want to. You may get very little out of these, but honestly, if you finish them and you don't need much from Iron Banner, you have no reason really to not hold on to these. And this is the last time you're going to be able to hold on to Iron Banner bounties because the tokens and everything are probably going to have to be turned in during Season 16 because they're reworking Iron Banner in Season 17. He's getting kind of a refresh over there. So I think I'm going to have to dump all my tokens this season as well. But I'm going to save them until at least a new season. So if you are saving bounties, I would advise also not doing Gunsmith or Gambit. They've said some Gunsmith bounties are going to get reworked, so you are potentially going to just lose some of those from your inventory. And also Gambit is getting a big rework as well. Not massive, but it's getting some rework, and some of the bounties may change up as well. So those 2 sets of bounties may not be worth holding on to if you're really trying to load up your bounties. I'm going to try and like replace these with something else over the course of the next week. So if you are saving bounties, save things besides Gambit and Gunsmith. And if you're saving Crucible and Vanguard, only save 7. Now, the reason I say only save 7, I already told you guys in the previous video, when you go through the Witch Queen campaign, if you do it first on normal, then still go back and do it on legendary, because you're going to get that bump up to 1520 for your power level. The reason I'm saying only do 7 bounties for Shax, for Zavala, is because you have to make sure one of the bounties you turn in, and specifically, hopefully, the last one. So once these challenges actually show up, these will show up when you hit 1500, which is the soft cap. When these show up, this is when you want to turn in your Vanguard and your Crucible bounties. Your other bounties, you can turn in as soon as you have your artifact. But do not turn your bounties in until you have your artifact. And then if you're saving Vanguard and Crucible bounties, don't turn those in until you hit the soft cap so you can get some quicker progress on your weekly challenges like this. The reason I say 7 of 8, if you turn in all 8 and they're from an old season, you run the risk of like not getting the powerful gear drop that you really need when we're trying to level up in Witch Queen. But if you do like 7 bounties and then you get a new bounty for season 16 with Witch Queen, and that's the last bounty you turn in, then it should work normally. Just make sure it's not all 8. You can do most of them, just not all of them. Hopefully that's clear. Other than that, it's a bunch of little stuff. Clean out your vault. Make some space. Make sure you're not messing with your vault on day 1. Make sure your characters are clean if you're going to play multiple. Make sure your vault has some space to work. You do not need as much. Weapon crafting is probably going to make some of your rolls not quite as good because now we have enhanced perks. Also on exotic armor, you don't need multiple copies as well there because you can just change from Arc to Solar to Void to Stasis on your armor with some Glimmer and Upgrade module. You do not need golf balls anymore. So if you've masterworked one or you've got one good roll, just keep one good roll. I've still got some cleaning to do here, but I'm even down to about 450. If I can get down to 400, I'll probably be happy. Turn in your gunsmith materials. If you haven't turned them all in, they are going away. Make sure you spend all of those. That is an important piece as well. If you're working to try and get anything with regards to like seals or triumphs, now is your last week to go for those, especially if you want the Moments of Triumph 2021 seal. That is also especially the last week, but you know, Lost, Splicer, Chosen, and Hunt seasons, and all the triumphs that go with those are going away. If you're trying to do anything related to Beyond Light, this one also may be your time to try and go for any specific Beyond Light seals as well. But that's pretty much most of it. You're going to have Iron Banner next week. You can jump into that one if you want to or not. You can do as much or as little as you like before things launch. But my advice is, for the exotic missions, this is your last shot. Play them if you can. If you're still going for a god roll, try one more time. You never know if you'll get it. If you need to stock up on exotic cipher quest, get that thing started, get some progress there. Try and get a couple golf balls so you're stocked up now. And then anything else that you need to do, clean up your vault and just make things tidy early in the week. That way, if you can just, you know, if you're like, I'm done on like Wednesday with Destiny, set it down and then just wait until servers go down. Make sure you download a Witch Queen and then jump in. That way you have like most of the week to clear your head, not think about Destiny, go watch some TV, play another game, do whatever you're going to do. But that's pretty much most of what I wanted to cover. Is the server reset times are very important to make sure you guys were aware of what's coming. One more reminder about the exotics, like Forsaken campaign, Tangled Shores, just all this is going to be gone. Any bounties you might want to do, anything else that you might want to check the box on, now is that time. So if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like below. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's Ebontis. I want to find me streaming on Twitch, both tomorrow for the story, which may or may not happen, and then also with Witch Queen, I'll be streaming a ton. And then also right here on YouTube, if you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of you that are not subscribed, so hit that button and the alert bell. That'll help my videos make it into your feed and let you know when I populate a new one. Lots of guides coming for Witch Queen, you know that as well. And of course, thank you all very much to my channel members and my Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon.